There are a lot of marriages failing because of lack of reciprocity, and there just was no reciprocation there, or one person was putting more in than the other person, or they just were not equally yoked, or adultery, covetousness. And you see, the thing is, when you're married or in a serious relationship, you got to keep your eye on your own relationship, because in this world of all these people, all of us, right? Billions of people. Do you know how many people that is? Every relationship is not going to look the same. You can't compare a relationship to yours that's completely different. They have a completely different bond. They have a completely different set of household rules or duties that they abide by, because that's what works best for them. For example, usually the mom is the stay-at-home mom, and then the dad goes and works and whatever. But there are some stay-at-home dads and the mom goes and work, and that works for their marriage. Some people may look down on it. Oh my God, the stay-at-home dad, like the woman goes to work, the woman is but it works for their household. So just respect that. Some things work easier and better for other people, and it's more effective for that family or a couple. So whoever you're with, whoever you want to marry, make sure that's really the person you want to marry. And I like to think about it like this. Think about, when it comes to choosing a partner, think about who you would not mind cleaning up after, because sometimes you're going to have to pick up after each other. And I say each other because I believe that the man and the woman can do both. A man and a woman can both clean and cook, taking care of each other. I mean, real reciprocation. I mean, buying each other gifts, showing each other love. You know what I'm saying? Showing each other that both of you matter, and one is just not dangling off the ledge while the other one is thriving in the relationship, and the other one is just losing oxygen and just going limp, just going numb, because they have not been poured into like the other spouse. If you keep your eyes on your own, you shouldn't be coveting and wanting other things. For those of you who still sleeping with married people, just stop. Stop sleeping with married people. And the married people who are sleeping with other people, just stop. God is not pleased with that. If you want to act single, be single, but don't take no one's hand in marriage through sickness and in health, through ups and down finances, through this and that, just to cheat on them. A lot of people actually prayed to God for a blessing and then spit on it when they got it. You don't want to have another person in the marriage putting way more into it. God says it's not good for man to be alone. If there are two, when one falls, the other one can pick the other one up. So sometimes a healthy relationship is going to look like this. A healthy marriage is going to, because you never know what's going to happen with one spouse. So if they're down, you'll be able to pick the other one up. And when this one is down, this one is going to, you know what I'm saying? It's like this. It's like a seesaw. You know, it's balance. And sometimes you're both going to be up like this, and sometimes you're, you know what I'm saying? But where there's two, one can pick the other one up when the other one is down. Marriage is ministry. Marriage is a covenant. It's more spiritual than the piece of paper. I understand a lot of you think it's just a piece of paper. It is, but in the spirit realm, it's a covenant between a man and a woman and God, right? You've got to show love to your spouse. You have to be intentional every single day about letting your spouse know that you love them, that you care about them. You have to let your partner know that you really love them. You have to be intentional. They should see that you are intentional about choosing them every single day. If you're able to forgive and move on in your marriage, do that. I'm not talking about abuse. I'm not talking about any type of abuse. Mental abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse, spiritual abuse, which could look like witchcraft. You know what I'm saying? People who doing love spells, that's abuse. You're abusing someone else and taking away someone else's free will because you want what you want. If you're able to forgive them and move on, do that. And do not let the sun go down on your wrath. Stop going to sleep mad at your person. Stop going to sleep mad at your wife and your husband. Stop putting your husband on the couch. Disrespectful. Get yourself together before bedtime. Make sure everything is right. Apologize and forgive before y'all go to bed, because you don't know what's going to happen, and you don't want to be the person who lives in regret and has a dreadful life if someone passes, if something happens, if they get sick and in the hospital. And those of you, these people who be leaving their spouse if they get cancer, you leave them when they get sick through sickness and in health. You took a whole vow and you leaving them because they got sick. That is just so sad and wicked. The devil and his agents are already against marriages, especially marriages with God in the center of them. The devil and his agents are already against the marriage. Y'all don't need to be two enemies in the same bed too. The devil is already against you. People outside of your household, your family members, your friends, other people, they're already against your marriage. They're already against a beautiful, healthy union. Y'all don't need to be against each other too. If you're not being abused and forced to leave that marriage, which I believe that God gives permission, to divorce abuse. God does not want you to be abused, okay? Let's just get that out of there. When you're talking to other people about your spouse, stop bad-mouthing them. Stop talking down on your spouse or your partner when you're talking to your homegirl or your homeboy or your mom. Talk to them and God. If you have problems, talk to God about it, because he's going to show you yourself first. He's going to show you where you was wrong at before them. And God has a way of fixing things without you even noticing. Whereas you don't need to be gossiping on the phone about your spouse. You know what he did? You know what she did? Like, stop. It's none of their business. And you taking advice from people who single. You taking advice from people who ain't got a ring. You taking advice from people who you wouldn't even trade places with. So what's going on with that? Why are we even taking advice from folks we wouldn't even switch lives with, for real? Go to counseling if you need to. Really work on yourself individually along with your relationship. Be intentional about loving them. You in the store, you thought about them. People love to know that you were thinking about them. And let your money be where your mouth is. Be a man of your word. Be a woman of your words. You know what I'm saying? Show love to your person. Show love in your marriage. The devil is already against y'all. Don't be enemies with each other too.